Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sharing Stories and Stuff. My name is Adina Ruskin. Eliana and I were having brunch this morning, and we were watching Stephen Colbert. We love Stephen. And he was doing an homage to President Joe Biden. Ah, that sounds so good. And Biden's smile just lights up the room. His sense of humor, his sincerity. It's just such a joy that he's our president. And he often quotes his parents. He says things, wise words that come from his mom or his dad. And I was thinking, someone ought to put together a book of these wise words from the Biden family because they're so inspiring and touching. And it made me think of my wonderful parents and the wise words they would share with us. And my dad's number one saying, he would quote from Hamlet, Polonius, as he was speaking to Laertes, who was about to leave for France. And my father used to say, above all else, to thy own self be true. Now, I think the actual quote is, this above all, to thy own self be true, or something like that. That's the actual quote. But my father used to say, above all else, to thy own self be true. And that has so many layers of meaning and has enriched my life in every moment, in every turn. It's been a great inspiration. And those are very wise words. Today, I'd like to share a story of when my dad first made a sign to my mom from the other side. So my father, he passed, he transitioned, died, however you want to call it, on his 60th birthday in 1989. And I was already connected with a wonderful medium by the name of Nicole Jean in France, and was eventually able to talk to my dad on a regular basis through Nicole. But Dad also found ways to reach out to us directly, many, many times, all kinds of messages and connections. But this one was very, very early on, and it was from my mother. And my mother has recently transitioned, and I asked her permission to share this story, and she said yes. So my mother was in terrible mourning, extremely grief-stricken. She was 58 years old. Wow. And very close to my age now. And she was alone in her apartment, and she noticed, I'm looking at the window in my living room, she noticed a squiggly mark or some sort of image that looked like it was drawn into the dirt. But there had been no one in her home. And she knew that the windows, had been clean, more or less. And she followed her intuition and her inner voice, and she wrote in the dirt that was on the window around this squiggly image, Asa, I love you. And 3 days later, in my father's handwriting, because my brother Phil checked with a letter from my dad, he was checking the handwriting, were 6 letters written around what my mother had done, which were a secret love code between our parents. I didn't even know they even had this secret love code. And that I won't share. But those letters were my father's response to Asa, I love you. Well, over time, what my mother had written on the window faded. What my dad wrote didn't fade. And that is the first time that my father made a very direct connection, reaching out to let us know that he was well and that the soul does continue. Death is just like taking off tight shoes, to quote Seth from the books of Seth. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story. All my stories are true, and I'm sharing them from my heart. I'm very excited because I have all kinds of new things coming. I'll be having episodes of Art Off the Wall. We're going to start a section of sharing stories and stuff for small children, and all kinds of things. So please subscribe. Let your friends know, especially those who are interested in stories about adventure, angels, spirit, that kind of thing. Light and love. Ciao.